over 2,000 more males registering than the females. In 2019, Mama, the number of females had surpassed that of the males for the first time by about 398. We had expected that these would be observed also in 2020 and 2022. However, we note that the gap in favor of males appears to be resurfacing. Honorable Minister, in 2022, 345,695 candidates, that is 173,761 males and 171,934 females, appeared for this examination, compared to 330,592 in the previous year. And this is an increase of 15,103 or 4.6%. Mama, the statistics of registration over the last 5 years is given in table 1, and we can see from that table the increases in registration, except as we have already mentioned in 2020, and also the increase in the number of candidates sitting, except in that year. Absenteeism had also been declining steadily, except that we observe, Mama, that this year that trend has reversed. We have slightly more candidates absent in this examination than the previous one, and this rose by about 0.3%, from 0.8 to 1.1%. Honorable Minister, we also had special needs education candidates at this level, and a total of 721 of these candidates, out of whom 389 were males and 332 females, they registered for the examination, and this compares to 519 in 2020. Mama, just like we saw with the PLE, there was also a large increase in candidature of this category of learners, that is 38.95%. And these consisted of the categories of the blind, those with low vision, those with hearing impairment or the deaf, the dyslexics, and those candidates that are physically handicapped. And then there were other candidates who are not in these categories, but they required, for various reasons, to be granted some extra time to write the examination. Adequate arrangements for these candidates, and these arrangements included modification of the question papers, provision of questions in braille form for the blind, providing support personnel to work with those that are physically handicapped and the dyslexics, and then the board also provided sign language interpreters for each deaf candidate to help interpret the instructions being given by the examinations officials. The candidates of low vision were given papers that had enlarged print, large enough for them to read without a lot of strain. And all these candidates were also accorded an extra 45 minutes to write each of the papers. Honorable Minister, allow me now to compare the general candidates' performance of 2022 and 2020 examinations. As the chairperson said, although we had the abridged curriculum, the manner in which the abridging was done did not affect the content, the knowledge, the skills, and the competencies that the candidates had to display in this particular examination. And therefore, we are able to compare the results of 2022 and that of 2020, and we do that in the table 2. We observe, Honorable Minister, that at Division 1, that is a first grade as it is sometimes called, we have 46,667 candidates. That is 13.5% of the candidates passing at that level. This compares to 12.1% in the previous examination. Therefore, at first grade or Division 1, we have an improved performance. Similarly, at grade 2, Division 2, we have 22.2% compared to 21.2%, giving us a cumulative percentage of 35.7% of our candidates obtaining second grade and above, compared to 33.3% in 2020. Meaning, again, Honorable Minister, that there was an improvement at that level. Honorable Minister, this improvement continues down the table, and you also observe that those that are unable to secure even grade 4, we don't want to call them failures, but the ones that have not been graded, the percentage also dropped from 5.6% to 4.6%. That's a 1% drop. So we can say overall that the performance of candidates in the 2022 examination was much better than that of 2020. Mama, we also compare subjects, selected subjects, because of the large entries, the number of candidates, and most of these are compulsory. We have English language, Christian religious education, and so on. And we also observe that if you look at percentage at 8, that is the overall pass. Better performance is shown in English language, Islamic religious education, geography, agriculture, physics, chemistry, biology, no, not biology, art. Those subjects, large entry subjects, showed increase in performance. There are a few others like Christian religious education, biology, and commerce that showed slight declines. Mathematics, we see that performance at the distinction level was much better than the previous year, but at the credit and the overall pass, there was a decline. English language had improved at the credit and the overall level pass, but there was a slight decline at the distinction level. Performance in biology, Honorable Minister, has continued to decline, as we have seen in the last few years, and that is a cause for worry. Worth noting, however, is that performance in physics and chemistry has improved, although the overall pass levels are still quite low compared to the other subjects. We also observe from the statistics that over 40% of the candidates that have taken these subjects have not passed, even at the minimum pass level of grade 8. As the chairperson mentioned, the board examined Chinese language for the first time in this examination. We registered a total of 134 candidates, and 124 of them passed. That is 92.5%. And this is a remarkable performance for the very first time we are offering Chinese. Ma'am, I want to inform you that the teachers of Chinese are not Chinese nationals, they are Ugandans. Even at Uganda National Examinations Board, the person responsible for the examination in Chinese is not a Chinese, but a Ugandan lady. The language is in addition to other major languages that the board is already examining, which the chairperson outlined. Mama will also compare the male, female, and male candidates' performance in table number 4. As always, the females outshine the males in English language. But when you compare performance in the other subjects, the females are a little lower. However, interestingly, in chemistry, where the difference at the grade 2 and grade 6 level among the males and the females is quite significant, when it comes to the overall pass by the candidates, the female candidates do slightly better. And we have observed this also in the past. And this trend in the disparity of performance between males and females we have observed in the past. Table 5 now compares the divisional passes between the two, the gender of male and female. We observe, and this confirms that the male candidates have performed better, because at Division 1 or first grade, 15.5% of the males have passed compared to 11.5% for the female. In grade 2 or Division 2, the males are 23.3% and the females are 21.0%. The female candidates' percentages begin to show at the lower division levels, where you now have more females than the males. The Division 9 or the failed grades, also there are slightly fewer males than the females. So the table just confirms that that overall the male candidates have performed better.